What's up, guys? To be honest with y'all, this is a new OT Universe What If, but this is going to be a crazy one, a quite bizarre one. Something that, you know, I never thought I was going to do, but I'm going to do it. And to tell you the truth right now, I'm high, so this is going to be a high video, the first ever one. But this would be, what if Naruto was my son? Now, I know what y'all thinking. What do y'all mean? What do you mean by that? I mean, he's going to be my son, my seed. I'm going to plant the seed in Kushina. He's going to be my son, and he's going to be powerful. He's going to be a galaxy god. Or a galaxy prince, you could say. Now, how would this happen? How would this, happen? Now, how would Minato let this pretty much slide? Well, we're going to start before the Night's attack. Now, this is where Kushina and Minato is, quite young and stuff. And, this is where I appear, talk to him and say, hey, which Kushina says hi to me and stuff. And I become great buddy with Minato and Kushina. This is where one night, as Minato is about to, do the deed, this is where I come in and I talk to Minato. This is where I offer him a deal where I basically tell their future and pretty much tell him I will save him. In exchange, I have a child with Kushina. Now, of course, Minato is kind of thinking and, having a rational decision. Well, I pretty much tell him that the future Naruto will have to go through all these stages, he will lose a lot of comrades and friends, and a lot of people will die he loved. Which this is where, of course, they accept. Because I told him about the Jiraiya death, and Jiraiya won't be the time to help Naruto. Now this is where Minato agrees, and I pretty much have that one night with, you could say, Minato Kushina. Now I know what you're thinking. Did I do Minato? No. But I did do Kushina, and we kinda had like, you could say, a 202 bro combo on that girl. But let's continue. Pretty much this is where we do a later time skip, and I'm still with Minato and Kushina and stuff. And this is where the babies are being born. Now, of course, this is where as the babies are being born, this is where Naruto will be birthed out. Now, Naruto will be black, just like me, and there will be a second child. And this will be Naruto's sister, which we're just gonna name her Mo Kushina, or Kushina Mo. Kushina Mo. Yeah, Kushina Mo, which that will be his sister name. Now, this is where Minato is happy about the two children because even though I'm the father of the other children, no, Minato will still want to teach Naruto. Now, this is where, of course, Obito will try to come in to attack, which I pretty much grab him and pretty much teleport him out, which Minato pretty much don't know what the hell just happened. This is where I slam Obito in the tree and says, "Huh, I thought you would show yourself, you damn Obito. How about coming back to the Leaf and becoming a good person?" Which this is where Obito says, "Huh, easy for you to say." And this is where he's trying to calmly away, but I pretty much deactivate his ability to calmly, and he's pretty much saying, "What? How did you?" Which this is where I have his throat, and I pretty much just say, "Huh, you're not gonna get away from me." Which this is where Obito appears, and I pretty much takes off the mask and show Minato that it's Obito, which, oh, no, well, I show Minato that it's Obito, which Obito pretty much can't do nothing about it. This is where Minato locks Obito up and pretty much trying to ask what he was trying to do, and Obito pretty much doesn't say anything. Now we're gonna just say something accidentally happened, and someone was like undercover, or you could say a spy that was supposed to have the attack happen, which is Miski, and he pretty much lets Obito go and Obito get the fuck out of here. But the Naito's attack never happened, so Naruto won't be hated. Now we're gonna do a time skip, and this is a 5-year-old Naruto, and pretty much I'm still in the Leaf, pretty much as a Joni. You could say a high powerful Joni, SS Ninja, because I'm quite dangerous in the Leaf, and I'm pretty much Minato right hand man. But this is where I'm at the house, pretty much taking care of Naruto and teaching him some jutsu, some fun little jutsus and stuff. And Minato's also teaching Naruto some jutsus and stuff. And I pretty much tell Minato we should teach the daughter how to do some jutsus and try to see if they can do it and stuff. And also have see how good their chakra control is. Now this is where we're just gonna skip to the paper, and Naruto does his paper, and he has all chakra nature. So Minato is shocked. Now this is where Minato daughter does it, and she has almost all chakra natures, but she only has wind, water, lightning, and fire, but no earth. And Minato is quite impressed of his daughter, which his daughter has red hair and Naruto hair looks like galaxy hair, just like a galaxy bunny, just like galaxy Naruto bunny, you could say. Now, after that, this is where, wait, hold on. Sorry guys, I had to check the time, but pretty much this is where um, Naruto pretty much does the same thing as in canon and help Hinata out, which Hinata, which Hinata, actually no, this is where Naruto's sister Kishinamo goes help Hinata out. Now, as she help out Hinata, this is where Hinata falls over heels of Kishinamo. And I know what y'all thinking. This is pretty crazy. This is kind of getting a little bit weird and spicy. Well, it quite is. But let's continue. Pretty much, this is where Naruto meets someone else, and this is a girl who's outside the village. Which this is where I forgot the girl's name. I think something. But this is where Naruto meets the girl from one of the Sound Four, her, and he's pretty much talking to her outside the village because we're gonna say before she meets Orochimaru, she's, roaming around and stuff, which Naruto meets her and she's playing a flute. And this is where Naruto makes a good relationship with her. And this is where she falls head over heels for Naruto. Which I want that relationship to build up. Now, we're gonna do a later time skip, and this is where we have a 10-year-old Naruto. Now, of course, I'm in the Anbu because I pretty much am a Joni, but I am an Anbu member, / so I'm pretty much doing missions and stuff. And I come back, which Naruto pretty much is training and stuff. And his chakra is on point, as it's God tier on point. Like, he has 100% pure control over his chakra. Actually, not even 100%, 10,000% pure chakra control. Now I know what you're thinking. That's pretty goddamn busted. What can he do with that 10,000% chakra control? Well, I'll let y'all know. He can pretty much form a chakra blade, make a chakra circle, or he can just make a chakra scythe. He can make a chakra weapons if he wants to, without you having a weapon. This is where, well, let me switch back. This is where Naruto is, pretty much practicing stuff, and he pretty much says, "Look, Dad, look at what I can do," which I pretty much say, "Oh, what can you do?" This is where Naruto activate his one Tomoe Galaxy Sharingan, which I look at and say, "Oh, wow." Now, this is where Naruto says, "That's not all I can do." And this is where Naruto does, or pretty much a little bit of a yell. And he says, ah. Now, as he does that, this is where he makes the ground crack a little. The ground crack a little under his feet. And pretty much he creates a prince crown. And his hair grow a little longer. This is where I say, I see. So you unlock one of the transformations. Which he says, transformations? Which I pretty much explained to him that since he is my heritage and he's the prince of the galaxy, he can pretty much have the transformations. As there's a transformation 1, 2, kind of like Super Saiyan, but with the spiky hair, but with long hair. As it gets longer every time you transform. And in the final form, galaxy form, is, you could say, as he looks like the sage's his path. That's his final form. Now this is where Naruto says, "Oh yeah," which I pretty much tell him, but he has to train hard to get to those transformations, which he pretty much has decided, and he also shows me he can create chakra weapons, which I pretty much say, "Okay, let's fight. Well, let's train. See, well, I tell him let's spar." This is where Naruto is fighting me, and he's pretty much formed a chakra whip, and he's pretty much trying to, you know, whip me, you could whip me, you could say. Now, this is where I'm dodging his attacks and stuff, and he pretty much switches weapons immediately. And I should tell you, he has kind of like flying Raijin weapon god level, as he can teleport and switch weapons every time. So this is where he does a teleport and switch his weapon into a staff and try to hit me. What I pretty much dodge and stuff with my, you could say my one tone. Well, you could say my one Tomoe Sharingan. Now, this is where Naruto steps up a notch and switches to the two Tomoe, and he pretty much, gets me on my tracks. This is where, of course, I switch my two Tomoe, and he pretty much, up a notch again and says he has to go farther, and he pretty much gets the 3 Tomoe, which I'm impressed of my son power. This is where I pretty much do the 3 Tomoe, and he does multiple teleports, which I'm dodging and stuff. This is where he, does 4 clones, four multi-shot clone jutsus, which he knows. Well, this is where he does a multi-shot clone jutsu and pretty much throw a bunch of kunai everywhere where I can't escape. And he pretty much teleport everywhere on me. This is where he's about to use, all the chakra natures to destroy me, which I pretty much stop time and, pretty much disappear. Which he's looking around, which I pretty much karate chop him in the back of the neck and knock him out, which I pretty much says, good job, you have gotten stronger. Now, I should tell you what Naruto looked like. He looks like the same outfit as the 10-year-old Naruto, but he has a blade on the back of his thing, kind of like Kakashi's. But anyways, let's continue. This is where we're going to do another time skip. And Naruto goes to the academy, and he does, how can I say this? He does get the Nine Tails, but he gets the good... Yeah, he gets the good Nine Tails. Well, no, he gets the bad Nine Tails while his sister get the good Nine Tails. How did that happen? Because I gave Kuchina enough chakra to attract the Nine Tails. But anyways, let's continue. This is where Naruto's at the academy, and he pretty much has a lot of friends, and also his sister, because not only did the 4th Hokage's son, well, Naruto's not the 4th Hokage. Well, he basically is, but he's basically my son, but people call Naruto the 4th Hokage's son, because, might as well. But he doesn't look like like Minato. But people say he looks like me, but they say it's Minato's son, so it's Minato's son because he says. This is where everybody's talking to Naruto, and Naruto got the girls and stuff all around him and all that. But he has his eyes on one girl, and it's that Sound Fort girl, which I forgot her name. Now, hold on, let me find her name. Kaguya, that's her name. If I said it wrong, y'all can crucify me. I'll let y'all do it. But pretty much this is where Naruto has his only feelings for Kaguya, the Sound Fort girl. Now, this is where Naruto pretty much passed the Shadow Clone test because he already taught him how to, do the seal thing, so he's pretty much buddy with Kurama. He's pretty much good friends with Kurama, so their link is like up to a level 10, so Naruto can pretty much go up to that form, you could say, if he wanted to be. But he doesn't do it because he only does it when it's necessary. I tell him to do it when it's necessary because I kind of taught him of the laziness of, kind of not do it. And Minato is, teach him not to do laziness, not to be lazy. But I taught him a little bit of, not to go all out. And kind of to play with your opponent a little bit. Now, this is where pretty much Naruto is winning in class and stuff, and Sasuke haven't got his... Well, yeah, Sasuke, the same thing happens. Well, no, the same thing doesn't happen, because, well, it did happen, but Itachi is not rogue, Obito is rogue, because he massacred the clan, including Fukaku and stuff, so it's only Itachi and Sasuke, so, yeah, that's it, it's gonna be her thing. So, but Sasuke is not going to... I'll explain later on, but pretty much, this is where Naruto, passes the test and stuff. But this is where Mitsuki does the same thing in canon and, get someone else to do it. Now, this is where Naruto is basically walking home after, eating Ichiran ramen and coming home. Well, no, this is where me and Naruto is eating Ichiran ramen and pretty much talking to each other. And I'm telling him that I'm going to teach him a special technique that I did on him, which he's pretty much decided to see. This is where we see a kid have the scroll, which I pretty much appeared to him, and Naruto teleport right behind him, which I asked, what's he doing? Which the kid pretty much says, oh, I don't want to get in trouble, please don't. Which I pretty much ask why he has, which I pretty much know why he has the scroll, but Naruto asks him, and he pretty much spilled the whole beans, which Naruto says, so Mitsuki is a traitor, which I pretty much look at him and says, you want to handle it, Naruto? Which he says yes, which I pretty much say, I'll take the scroll back. Now I take the scroll back in. Naruto pretty much goes in the forest. But as original, a little bit different as the same as canon. Naruto doesn't much out clone jutsu, but does the flying Raijin technique and just barrage the shit out of him. And pretty much, take him in. Now, after that, I guess this is where we get to the next day. And Naruto's pretty much waiting in class, and everything happens as the same. The teacher comes in and says all the same teams. But it's going to be a little bit different because, well, nah. We're going to say soccer last in class so we can make it work. And Naruto is first in Rookie of the Year. Naruto's sister is second. And Sasuke is third. Which Sasuke pretty much treats Kishinamo and Naruto as rivals, but Naruto more as a rival. And his sister, you can see, as equal rivals. Now, this is where we continue, and I guess this is where T7 is, well, pretty much called upon. Now, I should probably tell you, well, no, yeah, I pretty much just continue. This is where they're waiting, and I pretty much appear with Kakashi. This is where I pretty much appear with Kakashi. And Kakashi sees that, well, me and Kakashi is here and saying, yo, which, this is where Naruto says, Dad, you're here, which I pretty much smiles and says, yeah, I'm gonna be your Doni lead. And also Kakashi, which Kakashi does away. Now, this is where we all meet up on the rooftop, and I say word to myself, and I say, nothing much, I like to train my son. Eat food, sometimes be lazy, and I also like to do other things, such as powerful things that your mind can't concern, which Naruto knows what I'm talking about, like hopping over dimensions and stuff, and creating universes. But pretty much Kakashi goes the same. Naruto, well, this is where Sakura goes first. Hers is the same, trash. Sasuke, he wants to kill a person, and he's basically talking about not Itachi, because Itachi joined the Akatsuki without telling his brother. He joined the Akatsuki to be a spy, which Minato, made him, well, didn't make him as rogue. Well, he made him as rogue, but he is an undercover spy. But this is where Sasuke says he wants to kill a certain someone. And he's talking, well, actually he says, I want to kill the man in the mask. Which he's talking about Obito. Because Obito pretty much, was going to basically massacre the whole clan. Like, the Uchiha was perfectly fine. They had all their stuff back and their reputation back. But it came as a cost as pretty much, how can I say, Fukaku, was all fine until the Uchiha got massacred by Obito. Obito pretty much just did it in one night. How he did it, he did it. We're just gonna leave it like that. And Itachi had to protect his brother from Obito because Obito was trying to kill Sasuke. But this is where Itachi, joined the Akatsuki to be an undercover spy. But this is where Sasuke also says that he wants to figure out why his brother joined, why his brother left him. Or he pretty much says he wants to find his brother, which he's trying to figure out where the hell is his brother at and stuff, and why he left and betrayed the leaf. Now, this is where I guess Naruto is the same thing. He wants to become Hokage, but he also wants to make true peace around the whole nations and bring all the nations into one, like a unity, you could say. Now, this is where I'm smiling because I know he's going to achieve his goal, and Kakashi also smiled too. Now, this is where Kakashi says to meet up tomorrow, and I pretty much tell him that they can eat, but they might puke because it's going to be the hard test, which they pretty much all agree in. There you go. Now, the next day pretty much come in, and I'm already at the training field. Just pretty much chilling and waiting. This is where Naruto appears first, and Sasuke appears second, and Sakura, of course, appears third, and Kakashi appears fourth, which I pretty much Karoi chop Kakashi in the head and says not to be late next time, which Kakashi says sorry, and we pretty much continue the thing. Now, this is where Kakashi has one bell and I have one bell, and pretty much I explain the bell test, and I tell them that they have to grab one bell, eat one bell, my bell or Kakashi's bell. Now, this is where I say, "Are you marked to set go?" and they all go into, bush hiding. This is where Naruto grabs Sasuke and pretty much, grab Sasuke and Sakura because he's going to use teamwork. And pretty much he explains the plan. This is where he tells Sakura she's going to be a distraction and be, the sacrificial lamb, while Sasuke and him do an ambush attack on Kakashi. Which this is where Sakura said why I have to be the ambush, which Naruto pretty much says the truth to her and says because you're useless, Sakura, you're not good. Which Sakura gets butthurt, but Sasuke admits it too and says, yeah, you're kind of useless, Sakura. You're not strong yet, so you're gonna have to be the sacrifice. Which Sakura feels ass hurt about it, but she agrees and basically, like I know I'm surprised too. She agrees that she's garbage, and she basically does the distraction. Now I basically create three other soccer clones that make a distraction, so it can be more efficient. Now, I already see through the future and I see what Naruto's doing, but I pretty much, let it happen because, you know, we gotta continue the show. And pretty much, I'm just chilling with Kakashi in this, pretty much in the tree, just sleeping on top. Now, this is where Sakura appears and starts charging at Kakashi, which Kakashi is just shaking his head saying, they never learn. And pretty much Kakashi just dispatched all of them and pretty much put Sakura under the Genjutsu. Now, this is where Sasuke pretty much shoots a fireball at Kakashi, which Kakashi jumps by the side and pretty much dodges before he gets burned. This is where Naruto, of course, kicks him by the side and kicks him in the tree, pretty much cracking a couple of his ribs. Now, of course, Kakashi got his half body chakra cut off because Naruto can do that. He can cut off your whole body chakra if he kicks you by the side. So he turned off his whole left side, if I'm correct. And so Kakashi can't get up because he's like down on the ground. This is where Sasuke hurry up appears and grabs a bell and pretty much jumps back. Now, of course, this is where I jump down the tree and says, damn, look like they got you, Kakashi. Which Kakashi says why I didn't help, which I pretty much says they can grab one of the bells. And my son knew that he couldn't beat me, so he went for the simple return, which I'm pretty much proud of him. Which is where Naruto, smiles and says, thanks, Dad, which I pretty much says no problem. But this is where I pretty much say they pass because they're using teamwork. But I tell Naruto to not use Sakura as a useless tool and try to help her out get stronger too. Which Naruto looks away and he says he's tried to do it. Now this is where we do a couple missions and stuff, and as we're doing a couple missions, this is where Naruto, secretly goes away and he basically teleports to Kaguya. Now, this is where he teleports to Kaguya at a certain location where they meet at to talk to each other and, to hang out and stuff. This is where Kaguya talking to Naruto and basically saying that she is in the hidden sound and stuff and talking about Orochimaru and how Orochimaru wants to pretty much get Sasuke. Which Naruto says he wants Sasuke. Well, no, this is where Naruto says he wants Sasuke, which she explains that, yeah, pretty much he wants Sasuke body so he can become a Uchiha, which Naruto says, like, that's gonna happen to my friend. But she pretty much, says, huh. And she says, but be careful, don't get too cocky. He's very powerful, which Naruto says he'd be fine and he won't be cocky. Which this is where they share a passionate kiss and she says goodbye and giving him a hug and basically goes off, which Naruto teleports back in the village. Now this is where Naruto's walking back, and I pretty much asked Naruto, did he find the pretty much diamond that got lost, which Naruto says he has it right here, which I pretty much says, so how was the girl, Kaguya, which he's shocked and saying, how do I know, which I pretty much say, I know everything, and I pretty much tell him that it's okay, love is love, and we continue on. Now, this is where Naruto gets fed up and Sasuke get fed up, and they go to Minato and demands for a higher mission. Now, this is where Minato smiles and says, "Are you sure, son, you want a higher mission?" Which Minato says, "Yeah." Which Naruto says, "Yeah," and also Sasuke shakes his head, and Sakura says it too, because she's agreeing to, because of Sasuke. Now, this is where Minato gives them a C mission, and it's the, well, no, not a C mission, a B mission, to protect Tazna, because we're gonna say Tazna, you know, had a little bit extra money to pretty much make it as a B mission. Now, this is where Tazna comes in, and he's looking at the team, and he pretty much says, "These kids are gonna protect me," which I pretty much come up to his face and says, I should, yes, sir, they are going to protect you because my son is strong, and also Sasuke here is Uchiha, which he has the Sharingan. These are two, well, you could say, I say these are two fledges of Uchihas, and I pretty much says, and we have another person, which Sakura knows I'm calling her trash, and she says, "Hey, don't forget about me too." Now, this is where Tazuna says, alright, if you say so. And he pretty much walks out. Now, this is where we're going and stuff. And we're walking. Pretty much Naruto, Kakashi knows that something's not right. And Kakashi is impressed that Naruto knows that something's off here. Now, this is where Naruto touches the portal and senses that there's two demon brothers. And this is where Naruto gets a little bit forward and the demon brothers hops out. Now, this is where they was about to attack Kakashi as original canon, but but Naruto and Sasuke immediately did the combo together because they have been training together and using combos. And pretty much shoots a fireball together and makes a massive fireball. And pretty much burn the shit out of the demon brothers and make them a burnt crisp. Now, after they're down and pretty much dead, this is where we continue forward, and this is where we see the frog. Now, of course, Naruto has a powerful sensory ability up to like 2,000 to 1,000 miles, so he can sense everything. This is where he senses, Zabuza and Haku, and pretty much inform me about them, which are pretty much, to know. We have like a sense of telepathy together, or we do little hand signs at the bottom, and I pretty much, inform Kakashi, which Kakashi gets immediately. And this is where Kakashi tells everybody to duck. Now everybody's ducking except for me. I pretty much phase through the blade, and the blade hits through the tree. Now this is where Zabuza appears and says, nice special ability," which I pretty much says, "Yeah, I mean it's alright." But it only works once, which I'm pretty much lying off my ass to just fool him. This is where he pretty much says to me, "Huh, I heard you're Kishan Uchiha, the legendary god, or the galaxy god." Which I pretty much says, "Oh, so you heard of my name." Now, this is where pretty much Zabuza also looks at Kakashi and says, "I am Kakashi, the copycat ninja." Which pretty much I say, "Oh, you also heard of him. Okay." Which is where Zabuza says that he wants to have a fight with both of us. Which I pretty much said, "Okay, Kakashi, you want to go first?" Which Kakashi says, "Yeah," and everything happens as original canon, and he gets trapped. Now, of course, this is where I say, I guess I'm gonna have to show you my power then. Do you want my full power or only like 1% of my power? Which this is where Zabuza says my full power, which I pretty much said, alright, if you say so. And I pretty much activate my Galaxy Rinnegan. Well, my Galaxy Sharingan Rinnegan, you could say. And I pretty much charge at Zabuza with great speeds and punch him in his gut, sending him flying like meters away, which he's pretty much, couldn't hardly think about it. Now, as he's getting sent flying meters away, I pretty much teleport right behind him and elbows in his back. Pretty much, you could say, shattering his ribs and making him cough with some blood. This is where, of course, I grab his throat and slam him in the water and punch him in his skull. Pretty much, cracking his skull a little bit. I pretty much pick him up again and pretty much start barraging the shit out of him, like order, 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 and pretty much, send him flying in the trees. Now, as that's happening, Zabuza's trying to get up and stuff, and I pretty much appears in front of him and starts, you know, using the universal pull, pulling him back to me, and then I use the almighty push, and I just like do it back and forth, back and forth. Now this is where Zabuza is nearly almost dead, and he's like trying to concentrate, and I have him at the throat say, I want you to come out, which Haku comes out, and she pretty much is pleading to me to let him go and let him live. This is where I have him at the throat, and I pretty much throw him on the ground and throw her some chakra pills so he can heal up his wounds. And I tell him that he has 1 week to pretty much get powerful, so my son can fight him. For my son to fight him, and also for Haku to fight Sasuke, which they pretty much agree and go off. Now this is where I take Kakashi and stuff, and we pretty much is at the place at Tazuna house. Now I pretty much Kakashi is laying down in the thing pretty much because, like I said, I'm gonna say he used his Sharingan much a little bit earlier, and I begin to start healing him up. Now I begins to fix his Sharingan eye so he can pretty much use his eye without worry about having it down. And he pretty much has some rest while I train the kids. Now I train Chakra. I, I, sorry. I train Sakura how to water walk and tree walk because Naruto knows how to do it, but not Sasuke. And I teach both of them, and their chakra control got a little bit better. Now, this is where I teach Sasuke how to fully get his Sharingan up to the 3 Tomoe, and I begins to pretty much train with Sasuke and Naruto. Now I'm teaching Naruto how to mold his chakra into more weapons instead of swords and staff and stuff, to make it into like guns and rocket launcher and pretty much more deadlier weapons that's more modern and stuff. Now this is where of course I'm helping Sasuke do more better chakra control and pretty much mold his eyes into a 3 Tomoe Sharingan. Now as that's happening, this is where Sasuke starts unlocking his 3 Tomoe Sharingan by my tough training. I'm pretty much telling him to breathe in and breathe out, and as he's fighting with me, and he's pretty much get the development and gets more stronger in physical strength and all that because I taught him how. I pretty much teach him how to do push-ups and all that. Now this is where 2 weeks pass, and this is where everybody's at the bridge. This is where I tell Kakashi to stay out of this, and Sasuke and Naruto is pretty much going to fight Haku and Zabuza, which this is where Naruto gets prepared and pretty much starts fighting with Zabuza. Now, Naruto pulls out his blade and fights with Zabuza one-on-one, and pretty much when Zabuza swings his sword and Naruto blocks, he does a backflip and pretty much throws a bunch of kunai everywhere. And he pretty much activates the thing so they can become an offensive and a defensive. Now, Naruto's pretty much teleporting left and right, and pretty much Zabuza's blocking Naruto attacks, but also getting damaged and cut up. And every time Zabuza is pretty much going close to a kunai, the kunai gets sharp like a wind bullet. It shoots at Zabuza and pretty much hit through him or scratches him. So, yeah. And it also takes away some of his chakra, so he's having a really tough time. This is where we switch to Sasuke, and Sasuke is trapped in the ice mirrors, and Haku begins to shoot her ice needles at Sasuke. This is where Sasuke is dodging left and right, and he begins to do a handstand. He says, "Fire Cell, Master Fireball Jutsu," and shoots a massive fireball at Haku mirrors. Now, this is where Haku has to jumps out at a late time and gets half burned and hit the ground. This is where Sasuke appears right in front of her and begins to barrage punching her and stuff, and pretty much is whooping the shit out of her. This is where Sasuke jumps back and pretty much does another fireball and shoots Haku down and pretty much knock her out. This is where we switch back to Naruto, and Naruto pretty much is fighting and stuff. And this is where Naruto backs up and he does a handstand, charging up for a Shidori, which I pretty much teach him that. Now he pretty much runs in crazy speeds and hits Zabuza and pretty much not kill him, but just knocks him out and paralyzes him. Pretty much knocked him out. Now this is where the henchman comes in and say the deal is off, which Zabuza gets up and I heals him and say, "Do you want to help out?" and pretty much call the truth, which Zabuza says yeah, and pretty much we kick the shit out of the henchmen and stuff. It'd be great. It'd be named as the Great Naruto and Zabuza and Haku because why not? And also Sasuke. Why not? Why not? Now after that, this is where we all head home and stuff, and pretty much I pretty much is head back to the house and tell Naruto to don't be late, which Naruto doesn't be late. Now, this is when Naruto goes back to Kaguya and he talks to her and stuff and, give a kiss and have a conversation and spends his time with her. Now, this is part one of What If Naruto Was My Son. Well, what if Naruto was my son? Or I might change style. Well, what if Naruto was Kishan Uchiha's son? That's going to be the style. But I'm Kishan Uchiha. Thanks for watching and peace out.
It looks like you lost another one.